Yo, what's going on, Geek Corner? This is your boy, Earth Smack, the mad scientist.
And it's your boy, the infamous, the one and only Alvin. What's good, my brother?
What's happening? What's happening? This is the Orange Phoenix Show, Pro Wrestling Talk Live, right here on the Orange Phoenix Media channel, where we talk about all things of geek culture, whether it's anime, manga, pro wrestling, video games, comics, you name it, we nerd it. That is our motto. Do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell, because that way you get notified on all the videos that we do, including the lives as well. Now, I will say, go ahead and check out our Discord. Now, Discord has various different channels for various interests in geekdom. We are currently at 309 subscribers. Now, shout out to the new subscribers out there. Thank you for your support as we on our quest to reach 500. We are almost there. We almost there. Slowly but surely, we getting there.
Getting there.
We getting there, Al, man. What's been going on with you, brother?
Man, life of course been lifing. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
But, right.
Yeah, not in a bad way, but good things. Good things are coming. Family good.
Yeah.
Everything good, man. And also, real quick, just so I can put a little shameless plug out there, everyone, please subscribe to the Patreon. Please subscribe to the Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
For some good old access to everything Geek Mode, Orange Phoenix, and that's enough about me, man. Mad scientist, what's been good your way?
Man, things have been going pretty great, man. I just got back from Detroit. I was in Detroit over the past few days.
313, the free world.
Hanging out with the missus, you know, had our date nights and went to go see a DJ's football game, which they won, by the way, and decisively they won. So it was no debate on the score on that. But watched some football on Sunday, and you know, my boys are 0-3, and I'm a little perturbed. I'm a little perturbed, just a little bit, but the season ain't over. I trust Joey B, because he said in the press conference today, like, look, we 0-3. The season is far from over. We got 14 games. We got 14 games, son. So it is what it is. So some people out here saying Joe Burrow washed. I'm like, you can't be washed. You throw no picks and you throw 300 plus yards and 3 TDs. You can't be washed if you do that. You know, that's all on the defense. But I will say, Al, man, it was said that this was the cleanest game of football since the 1984. Like, there was no punts at all. It was no punts in this game. There was like a score every drive, whether it was a field goal or a touchdown.
Football.
It was good old fashioned football. Like, if it was flags, it was on us, and you know, it was what it was. Now, we legitimately lost that game. I would say that. I have no argument on losing against Washington. That was a legitimate loss. Kansas City
days look good.
He did. Now, Kansas City, you know, the jury's out on that one, but yeah. Cause that's our dub. That's our dub. They snatched it away from us, but you know, but Washington.
Y'all should have won that one. Y'all should have won that one.
We definitely should have won that one. But Washington, that was a loss. That was a loss. That was a legit loss right there.
Well, you see, I'm a Patriot fan. You see what happened to us against the Jets. It's a long 14 games to go, and then we got the 49ers on Sunday, and then it's televised. That game needs to be blacked out real quick.
Hey, no, the ultimate sign of disrespect, though, when it comes to football games, if you know you got a primetime game and they move that joker to Sunday at 1, that's the ultimate sign of disrespect. I've seen it happen, and it happened with my team. Neither did it happen to yours, but it just didn't happen. And it was like later on in the season, it was like, nah, we ain't gonna make this prime time. What's wrong with
They can move our game to 5 a.m. for all I care. I do not want that televised. How bad we're gonna get beat. Look, I've got Brandon Ayuk and Juwan Jennings, Juwan Jennings had an amazing game Sunday.
Yeah. And
he's on my fantasy football team, and he was on the bench.
Oh boy.
That man had almost about 125, 130. I think he had more than that, and 3 touchdowns. He had 2 by the end of the first half. Yeah, and I had him on the bench.
But you know what's funny though is that whoever had Josh Allen on their fantasy, they cleaned up out here.
I got Josh Allen. I got the Bills defense.
Oh yeah, you cleaned up pretty nicely. Cleaned up pretty nicely though. It was not expected. It was not expected. But Cincinnati season is far from over. Like we go from there. But this week and next week in comics, I know we got some new videos that's coming out. We're gonna be talking about X-Men, Uncanny X-Men #2. We're gonna talk about the most current issue of X-Men, Absolute Power #1. Definitely gonna be talking about that this week. But today is pro wrestling talk. Today is something that sent the United States in a bus in the pro wrestling spectrum. Matter of fact, the wrestling world. And we're talking about Vincent Kennedy McMahon's docuseries that is on Netflix. It premiered today on Netflix, and I had the pleasure of watching the whole docuseries because I could not stop watching it.
Whew.
I could not stop watching it, but we are definitely going to talk about that. It's definitely worth the watch. Definitely worth the watch. So, also we're gonna talk about that docuseries as well as Jey Uso winning the IC title on Monday Night Raw. Was that the right move, or was that not the right move? But with this docuseries, this was not, in my opinion, this was not a WWE puff piece. This wasn't it. Like F-bombs was being dropped. Tony Atlas was there. He said some shocking things. And honestly and truly, like by the time the docuseries ended, that's when the accusations really went rampant, and he elected not to be interviewed anymore after that fact. So there was an empty chair come the last episode because he was dealing with the legalities and all that other stuff. But let's start back from the beginning though. Let's start back to the 80s. Like the 80s was a crazy time in wrestling, and little did people know, you know, us older generation, we know that he had a court case when it comes to anabolic steroids use, and Hulk Hogan was on the stand and all that other extra shit. But little do people know that anabolic steroids was legal back then. It was legal, and then up until the point that it was illegal, that's when they started looking at WWF and like, yeah, we gonna sue your ass. That's what we gonna do.
A lot of people forget that it was the access these athletes had to anabolic steroids. Yeah. Like if you take a look, was it the biography of Ultimate Warrior?
Yeah.
Like he and Sting, they were working out. They had a hookup that could go right across the border, grab them, come back, and next thing you know, they were able to juice. What's the oh my god, what is the documentary that's on Netflix? My girl was the bodybuilder. Was it Killer Sally? Killer Sally.
Oh yeah. The whole
she was
thing.
She was the bodybuilder. She murdered. Well, I don't want to say murder because he was beating her. So I mean, but in a legal term, she murdered him. She did her time or whatnot. Yeah. And the next thing you know, she basically said, "Yo, we had access to these steroids. They were so easy to get.
Yeah,
I mean, not only was it legal, not only was it legal, but all you had to do was see the right person, and that right person could be an ordinary Mo like you and me.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, up until they made it illegal, that's when people started cracking down on that. And then what's funny about it, when Vince McMahon is your voice of reason, you know full well you doing some real dumb shit, because Hogan went on like Arsenio Hall and he was like, "Did you use steroids?" He like, nah, I didn't use steroids. And Vince told him, like, listen, just tell him the truth. Yeah, you use it. Nah, he lied. He lied, which made the situation worse. Like, bro, like, man, Vince is telling you to tell the truth, bro. Like, come on, man. Come on, man.
Look at real American yellow and red Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Look at the size of him, even though it's years later, of course.
Yeah.
Look at the size of this man when he was leading the NWO.
Yeah.
I mean, vast. You can see an enormous contrast between the two. I mean, it was like you had a guy who was toned in the NWO with that old ass man's head on him.
Yeah.
I mean, the size difference. I mean, we all know, I don't care what anybody says, Triple H juiced at one point. And you can tell he got off Because you remember Triple H with the whole handlebar mustache.
Handlebar mustache, yeah.
That was the guy. That was the guy that wasn't on steroids anymore. Then he tore his knee. Tore his quad. Came back and was in phenomenal shape, slimmer but phenomenal shape. So I mean, even back then, I'm sorry, steroids is still around. Let's call it what it is.
Steroids still around, like in other sports deals.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, so Vince, going back further, like Vince McMahon Sr. Vince McMahon Sr. had like certain territories, and Vince McMahon talked about his upbringing, how he was abused by his stepfather, and how, like his own mom, you know, the way he was abused, and when he met his dad, like he worked from the trenches, like he was doing announcement work, and how he ended up being an announcer is that there was a dispute when it came down to money and his dad. Like the guy was like, listen, I don't want to get paid. I'm not doing this. This is like right before the show started, and the guy didn't do it. So Vince took the mic, and that's what started this ball to roll. Mm-hmm. And when when he created the World Wrestling Federation, he didn't follow the rules, because I'm gonna do my shows in this territory over here, which I didn't know this. This man was getting threatened. He was like, listen, you better talk to your son, or he's gonna end up in the bottom of the river. Like, they were saying shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was legit.
Vince don't care.
He didn't care. Like, he took over territories, and on top of that, he was, I wouldn't say poaching, but if you get offered more money outside of your territory, obviously I'm gonna jump ship. So people was coming into the World Wrestling Federation. So slowly but surely, he ended the whole territory deal outside of WWF. So at this point, his story is okay. This is like, he literally went from rags to riches in that standpoint. Now he's more entertainment than pro wrestling. Vince McMahon Sr. was more pro wrestling. So he wanted his whole vision, you know, was entertainment. And the way he had those guys working, though, like with Hulk Hogan, was bringing the house. Like he was the seller, right? But he was working 7 days a week, bro. Yeah. Seven. That's wild stuff right there.
And see, we've all seen the clips of Hulk Hogan when he was across the pond. Like it was more technical wrestling.
Yeah.
When he became that big draw for WWF, it was like he just took, like, this was his technical wrestling, just tossed to the side.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is go out there and just make little kids believe that I'm getting beat up. Guess what? Now I'm coming back and all of those stuff. And that was the entertainment. Like Hogan's technical wrestling was, I'm gonna be honest, was garbage. It was garbage, but like you said, he was such a huge draw. And of course, as a kid, me and you, we were there yelling red, Hulk, look at Hulkamania, Hulk rules shirt, bringing a flag. I ain't gonna front. I was a fan at first until excuse me. I was a fan at first until I saw Macho Man wrestle once.
Yeah.
And Macho Man made me an immediate fan, because I was like, this guy don't even look like he should be doing this.
Yeah.
Macho had me look, I mean, he was like, this man should be that good of a wrestler. One, he's got this long brown hair, balding up there damn near, but he's putting, and that elbow drop, I think that's the most glorious move of all time still. And it's just an elbow drop. It's just a flying elbow drop. But Hogan was such a big ass draw, man.
I mean, for me, it was like, I was more of a Sting fan and the Macho Man Randy Savage, and when Ultimate Warrior pulled up, and I was pro them. Like, I was never really a Hulk Hogan fan, but even more so to hate Hulk Hogan even more, I understand Jesse Ventura's take on it, because he wanted to unionize, because wrestlers was working 7 days a week, 300 plus days out the year, and you can't be hurt. If you're hurt, you had to take painkillers, you had to take all this other shit, because if you take time off, somebody's taking your spot like that,
Leapfrog.
like immediately. So
Leapfrog
you got to play
immediately.
hurt. So Jesse was like, let's create a union, and Wrestler was on board. And who snitched to Vince was Hogan. Oh yeah, Jesse trying to unionize and shit. He's trying to do this and that and the third. And Vince put the end to that. So he talked, because Vince talked to wrestlers one by one, and he threatened jobs at that point. And so like, oh well, this is my livelihood right here, so I'm not even going to do that. And so whatever leverage Jesse Ventura had to unionize, to make things easy for wrestlers, gone because of Hogan, because he snitched. He was like, "Hey, Vince, they doing something over there." Like he said it. He said it on the documentary. I'm like, bro, seriously?
And see, you know what? Hulk Hogan did exactly what the big draw's supposed to do.
Yeah,
protect the cup. You know what? He was the company man. Let's call him what he is. He was a company man. He was a company man. And then you had the company man, and then you had Jesse Ventura, who was the man of the employees.
Yeah.
And I mean, the last thing an owner wants to hear or a manager wants to hear, that word right there, or its shorter version, unionize, man, that's the last thing these big corporations want to hear. And especially if you got somebody like Jesse Ventura who who knew what he was talking about in regards with unions. Ah, man, that would have been I'm not saying WWE wouldn't have made it this far.
Yeah. But
there would have been some speed bumps along the way if that union would have taken place.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I mean, nowadays, when you look at the landscape of wrestling now, people get time off. They get, they might work 200 days out the year, or they might be off for a few months or whatever, and they still maintain their spot. But one thing I will say, Vince McMahon was a genius at is creating new stars. So whenever the top guy leaves, he finds the new younger talent and creates stars out of those. Like, one thing you can't take away from Vince, even though his personal stuff, is that he is the best promoter in wrestling. Like, that cannot be disputed. Like, that cannot be disputed. So, now let's get down to the nitty gritty stuff. Like, let's get down to some of the other things. Like, there's something Tony Atlas said here, and look in here. Go ahead and take this off here. Now, it said, according to New York Post reporter Phil Mushnick, and Phil Mushnick had like a hard-on for WWF at the time. Like, he wanted to expose them mofos. So Phillips will hire teenage boys to put up and take down the ring fences during matches. In too many cases, these ring boys were underage and they were being sexually abused. Now, wrestler Bret Hart later called Phillips a total pedophile that preyed on young boys and claimed if these young boys weren't complying with their requests for sexual favors, they weren't hired. But McMahon described the allegations differently during his interview in the documentary, and there was so much going on at the time. One accusation is that someone from our organization was coming onto someone from our ring crew. And let's also talk about the sexual assault allegations towards Vince McMahon by Rita Chatterton, otherwise known as Rita Marie, and they also brought up like Pat Patterson. They brought up Pat Patterson in that guys. Yeah. They were like, well, Pat Patterson was the innocent one out the whole situation, and Tony Atlas was like, hey, nah, Pat Patterson used to grab me by my privates all the freaking time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he was like, and the interviewer was asking, so why didn't you say something? He like, who I'm gonna talk to? He's like, Patterson was like the number 2 guy. So who you think gonna get fired out of this situation? Pat or me?
Pat had pull. Well, pause. But Pat had, pull. Yeah. Again, pause. And Pat was, let's be honest, Pat was tight with Vince McMahon. Imagine going to Vince McMahon and saying, yo, and especially back then when a lot of that was frowned upon. Of course, now today is a lot more liberal and everything. So I mean, you can, that lifestyle and everything, being a gay lifestyle. Look, I've got no problem with it. Hell, look, we're Sigmas. We've got gay frat brothers. gay is straight. You're human. But imagine, Tony Atlas, who's a big, muscular, black guy, going to Vince McMahon saying, "Yo, your man's is
doing something he got no business.
Yeah, your man's is out here behaving like this."
And I ain't asking for it. I ain't asking for this.
Before Tony even finishes his sentence, he's out of here, and we probably never see him again.
No,
we probably never see him again.
Not at all, man. And that wasn't even the beginning of it, because so Mel Phillips and Terry Garvin were fired. Pat Patterson was not. And then Vince was talking around the lines of like Pat Patterson is like really the first openly like gay person in like pro wrestling at the time. And then he kind of said some things like under his breath or whatever. He was like, well, back then, looking at Pat like that, but it kind of kept Pat on board. Pat left for a few months and then they brought him back. Mm-hmm. But Tony's outwardly said, like, listen, he touched me when I didn't want him. I like, listen, what I'm gonna tell people, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna get fired. I'm gonna lose money. Like, I'm gonna get blackballed. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then we fast forward to like we talk about Jimmy Snuka and his girlfriend in 1983. And listen, as far as Tony Atlas said, Tony Atlas kept it straight. He said, we'd have been looked upon in today's society as some of the worst human beings walking the face of the earth. He said, I mean, we abused the hell out of women. All of us did. They were like toys, like a toy for us. Pretty much like that. They never referred to Jimmy Snuka and then his girlfriend in 1983. The charges was dropped and all that other stuff. Yeah. So
they tried to bring that back up before he died.
Exactly. They tried to bring that back up. And the whole thing with Rita Marie, I know that case got settled. And then you fast forward over to the screw job.
Oh.
Little did I know, though, that the screw job, this wasn't the first time they did this. They did this to Wendy Richter. The person that Tony Storm called out, they did it to her because she refused to drop the title. And then I think it was the Fabulous Moolah that she was going up against. And they did some kind of pin, keep on counting, take the belt. Now you can't just walk away with the belt now. Now you got to hand it over.
Yeah. And now we all know how low Fabulous Moolah was. And real quick, everybody, I'm in Columbia, South Carolina. So is Erskine.
Yeah.
Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young, they're buried right here in Columbia, South Carolina, next to each other. I've seen their graves. Yeah. I've heard of people kicking the holy shit out of Fabulous Moolah's grave, her stone or whatever. But I mean, we've heard of it. To be honest, it's almost as if Vince McMahon, being the low SOB he is, he kept some low jokers around him, and looking at this docuseries, it's a lot of low jokers he kept around him. Fabulous Moolah, look, I don't care if anybody's kin to Fabulous Moolah or whatever. She did some low shit during her days.
I didn't even know this until Dark Side of the Ring. Like, once I saw that, I was like, whoa, I did not know this was even going down. And I didn't even know about Wendy. About Moolah, yeah. Like, I didn't even know about Wendy Richter, like with the screw job with her way back when. But
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, but with that particular case, though, I think Vince might have been a little bit justified in that. Because it's like she refused to do that. Like, but Brett, in his case, he was willing to drop the title, but Sean said, well, he wasn't willing to drop it to me in Canada. And Brett put out other options, and the initial response was you do like the schmoz, where basically everybody jump in and, a group of guys come in and do their thing. So here's another little tidbit. I did not know, Al. He told the ref, he told Sean, he told Triple H what the plan was. You didn't know? Brett. No. But here's what he told him. He told him the plan, but he said, under no circumstances do you say, I knew about this plan. You tell a bold-faced lie.
I knew that. I knew that.
Bold-faced lie.
They said that on, was it the Sean? They said that on the show because I don't know if you saw this. If you need to watch it, I'm more than happy to let you borrow it. Sean versus I think it was Brett versus Sean. Sean versus Brett. It was like a little DVD series they put out.
Oh yeah. The rivalry.
And come to find out, like you said, he told Triple H, he told Sean, he called. Matter of fact, if I'm right, I think that was the day of Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Called him in there. And Sean and Triple H, when I mean, they were, both of them were like, we were like deer in headlights when he told us this shit. And I'm sitting here like, and they go out there and they had to play the part of how they didn't know.
Yeah.
And backstage, you've got Brett's wife at the time. Yeah. Like she's talking cash shit to Triple H. Chyna's right there too. She's like, y'all knew about it. Y'all effing knew about it. Here's Triple H. Look, we didn't know.
I swear to God, I didn't know.
And in the locker room, you got Brett. Like they're changing clothes and everything. Like they're sitting about 5-10 feet away from each other.
Yeah.
Brett clears. They say, did you know? Here goes Sean. I swear to God, I didn't know. I'm sitting there like, oh shit. I was like, did he really sit there and say that? And I mean, Triple H was like, we knew the whole plan. Like, who was the ref? Earl Hebner?
Yeah.
Was the ref Earl Hebner?
Yeah, right, because he said like ring the bell, and it was like ring the effing bell, like that. So like Earl was like right in the middle of all that. So that shit bothered him for a long time.
Earl was sick, and I'm sitting there. I was like, "Come on, man!" When I seen when it just watching it, Earl just. When I mean Earl was sick, you ever see somebody have a guilty conscience?
Yeah,
that's Earl must have had the guiltiest conscience in wrestling. In the wrestling industry, the guiltiest conscience of all time in the wrestling industry. Because because you had Brett and you had Sean, who's at the top of his game. You have Brett at the top of his game, but his contract's expiring, and it's just, bruh.
And the funny thing about it was, like, when Sean put him in the sharpshooter, he had it on wrong initially. Brett said it like, listen, I told him, I said, listen, switch the leg around, and then switch the leg, and then they did it, and it's like, so Brett was working in that match, you know what I'm saying?
He's working.
So he's pissed and all the other stuff, but I love hearing this story all the time, man, because Brett was like, he said, man, Vince came in and we walked to each other, and he said we actually wrestled a little bit. He said, but how can all I need is one shot. How I can get this one shot off before they separate us? And he said he came up with the biggest uppercut he could and popped him one, knocked his ass cleaned out. Like, knocked him out cold. Yeah, knocked him out cold.
The Raw the next night, you ain't even got to look hard. You ain't got to look hard. But Vince's eye was black.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely noticeable.
Right
and Brett was like, I got on that plane and it was like, I've never been so happy to punch somebody in their damn face ever.
Yeah, because it's like when he left, it's like you left with our Owen, like Brett's Bulldog is there. You got all this stuff going on.
And so Anvil's still over there.
Yeah. So when you look at now, there was one episode where they talk about like the Monday Night Wars, but we don't heard about that story ad nauseum, right?
Yeah.
But the things I was curious about what they was going to talk about, they did talk about it. Like they talk about Over the Edge, like I think it was in May when Owen died in the ring, and I think there was like a dark segment or whatever the case may be, and Owen's blood was still in the ring, and so they basically told the wrestlers like, hey, go out there, the show goes on. So Vince was like, Vince said this. He said, man, if it was me, and just like what Brett said, if I got splattered on the ring post, move me out of there. Keep the show going. If it was me.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay. He said, you talk about Shane. What if it was Shane? But hell nah, what if it was me? Like if I splatter on the mat, I'm gonna tell you to move my body out of the way and keep the show going. It's like people didn't pay to come to see someone die in the middle of the rain. A lot of people come to watch a show. Like if it was me, obviously any person of normal decency would say, "All right, sorry about that. Here's your refund. We're gonna have to do something else because
everybody getting their money back.
Everybody getting their money back, right? The pay-per-views they get refunded. I'll lose money that night, but you know, obviously Brett wasn't there, and it did like a close-up shot too. They showed The Rock walking by, and the blood is literally right there. Like they didn't even wipe their blood off. That's the stuff that was real chilling. And you know, Brett blamed Vince for that, and then I guess the investigators actually called Brett and told him, he said, "Look, we promise you we're gonna tell you what's going on. This was not premeditated. This was an accident, and it is on the company, not WWE." And Brett was like, "Okay, but again, you know, you lost your brother. You know what I mean?" So, and I get where Brett's coming from because he held a long grudge, like
justified though.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Because he felt like Vince was punishing Owen by Brett leaving because Owen chose to stay. Like you see those, like his last part of his career, where he was in these funny segments or whatever the case may be.
Oh, I hated those.
You know what I'm saying? So Vince's defense was, I was trying to, you know, make a star out of him. But I mean, to be honest with you, Owen was already a star before that. So to me, that was it. So I don't know, man.
Man, my opinion, Brett was the better technician.
Yeah.
Owen was just it.
Yeah.
Talent-wise, again, Brett, better technician, more of a heavy hitter. But Owen was just it, bruh. When I mean Owen was it, Owen could do it. I mean, Owen, technician. Yeah. Come off that top rope, had speed, had the charisma. I mean, Owen was the complete, to me, I mean, I've always felt this way. Even when he was with Coco Beware, this man was the complete package.
Indeed.
And Vince didn't give us a chance to see all of that complete package. I mean, and I hate that we got to give the man his flowers.
We got the Rocket. We got King of Hearts.
Oh man, don't even get me started on King of Hearts.
Yeah.
King of Hearts. I mean, Owen was that guy. Owen could have been 45, 50 years old, and I still would have said, we ain't even seen the best out of the guy because he was that good.
Yeah.
He was that good. He took care of his body. He was athletic. I mean, he looked better as the year, even when he cut his hair down. He looked better as the years progressed until we started seeing those dumbass segments. The Blue Blazer, they could have kept that. I promise you, if the Blue Blazer would have never been around, he'd still be here. And we'd be sitting here saying, Owen, we'd be confirming, without just opinion, we'd be confirming that man was better than Brett.
Yeah.
His body of work would have been so amazing, man.
So now I got to back up like 40 years ago when Vince McMahon put out a hit on a news reporter. Right, so
He's so trash.
I didn't know this, but you remember that infamous video? This old video where the news reporter told this wrestler that wrestling was fake.
Yeah,
and the wrestler slapped the piss out of him.
Yeah, I remember that.
So here's what I found out in this documentary. Like, it was said that this wrestler was this news reporter was going around saying wrestlers are fake and blah 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 blah. And Vince was like, man, I need to get rid of this guy. And he just said it, right? Like, he just walked in the locker room, was like, he didn't say, go do that. He just said, man, it would be nice if he, you know, get him the hell away from here. And so one of the wrestlers, David Schultz, he's like, bet, I'm going to do that. So
I remember.
So Stoleside said wrestling fake, and at that point, David Schultz slapped him twice. He's like, pow, pow. And I mean, like all of this was messed up. And then they asked Tony Atlas, he was like, well, what did y'all say? He said, man, we loved it. We cheered for that man. We championed him until we got a lawsuit. Until we got a lawsuit, And then fast forward, Hulk Hogan put an interviewer in a headlock like this and was like tugging a little bit, like on TV. And then when he let him go, the guy dropped backwards, slapped the back of his head on the floor, right? And then he picked him up. Guess what? That's another lawsuit right there.
Another damn lawsuit.
You got another lawsuit. So you got 2 lawsuits before, I think it was before WrestleMania 2 or 3. I don't remember right offhand. Right? So you got to take care of all this shit. So WrestleMania 2, Vince wanted to make it bigger than one by having like, I think 3 different venues at the same time, or 3 different places at the same time, and it didn't work out well. And WrestleMania 3 was like the highlight and all that. But and they asked Vince, like, what, did he have any regrets? He's like, nah, I got none. He said, I don't have, like, I got stories. I ain't gonna tell them. I'm not gonna tell him here. He said, I don't like talking about myself and stuff like that. And the thing that's crazy though, Al, is that most of these wrestlers look at Vince like a father figure, right? And this at the time of the interview, this was before the allegations came out, right? Now I don't know how they feel now about it, but they talk about the story history with Shane and Vince, how Shane was looking to prove himself to his dad, like that whole match with Kurt Angle going through the glass, or him wrestling the Undertaker at WrestleMania, like he got a hug from his dad. He's like, that's all I wanted. Not to say he never hugged Shane, but they made it sound that way.
Yeah,
it was kind of like that. But man, with that last episode, man, when they talk about those allegations, he wasn't present.
Because he probably couldn't say anything. And no matter what happens, and this is just what I took from it. No matter what happens, because of some of the product you put out during the Attitude Era, it's hard to sit there and look at Vince McMahon and say he didn't do some of this stuff. Yeah, because he was a man. Excuse me, he's a man with unlimited resources because he's got money.
Yeah,
he's a man with a lot of power because he's got money.
Yeah,
he's a man that's gotten a lot of that money from the product that he's put out over the years. And who is that? I mean, Mickey James, for example. Mickey James said, "When I got let go, I got my shit in a black plastic bag."
Yeah, like a garbage bag.
Yeah, and after, and I'm pretty sure Vince could have made, I guess, that separation a lot better. But we're talking about Vince, who probably doesn't give a damn about much of anybody, especially if you cross him or you leave the company. And I'm pretty sure, and this is why I agree with you as well, I'm pretty sure that some of the talent looked at him as a father figure because, one, Vince basically was your cash cow. A lot of this talent made a lot of money compared to what it could have been, because even though he bought up the territories, some of those smaller territories we're still trying to run it there. Some of them they're still running today, but it's not as big as it used to be, of course. But a lot of them, Vince basically helped a lot of these folks get on their feet, get off their ass and get on their feet. So, and I'm pretty sure he heard a lot of things that some of those folks went through and protected them from a lot of stuff that they went through. When it comes to like sexual allegations and whatnot, like, for example, Enzo Amore, I feel as though he should have got it in front of his, whether it happened or not.
Yeah, which it did. Yeah, come to find out.
And you were holding a title, a brand new title at that. So, I mean, you got to get out in front of it. And I have a feeling that Vince allowed stuff like that because he was doing it. Absolutely believe he was letting a lot of that stuff go. And now, look at the allegations he's got going on. I mean, these are serious allegations. I mean, if you abusing women out here, I'm sorry, I can't respect that. I can't respect that at all.
Nah, it's like you tarnish your legacy. It's like you go down as the greatest promoter in wrestling history, but at the same time, there's a huge asterisk, like bam, right there. So many lawsuits, there's so many court cases that you've been up against. Like, this stuff ain't brand new. Like, for me, it goes back to the antibiotic steroids deal because that was the whole controversy started, and then it just never stopped. It was always was something along the way. And then they actually spoke on Ashley Massaro. They actually spoke on that too. So about how she was assaulted during like tribute to the troops while she was overseas, and how Vince was dealing with that situation or whatever the case may be. So it's like it's a lot of things that is compounded like to Vince, and Vince was trying to buy back the rights from Netflix and Endeavor was like, nah, we good with that. we're gonna keep pushing this docuseries out, fam. Like this is what this is. Now Bruce Pritchard gonna always come to the aid of Vince McMahon. We've seen that in this docuseries ad nauseum. Brother Love gonna always come to that aid. And he was like, man, I don't think this was done fairly, man. We need to talk about Vince the human being and stuff like that. Like we are talking about him as a human being. Like is this not what he's dealing with right now, bro?
He's a slime ball of a human being, right. And for instance,
better hope your name ain't in that shit, bro.
I'm telling you. And see, the most famous guys, the most famous folks, especially the rich ones, they don't make it that far without some type of controversy. It's just his came up a little, and when they spoke on that Ashley Massaro thing, I was like, that poor girl, she ain't even here right now. And I was like, that poor girl, man. So he's got antibiotic steroids, the sexual assault or sexual abuse allegations and whatnot. And there's some more, there's definitely some racism in there somewhere. I'm at a loss for words for the guy. I already knew he was a slime ball. You can't put out that type of product without having some type of slime ball in you.
And if they confirmed, like I don't know, Stephanie didn't spoke on it. She was like, what kind of stories that you said no to? She was like, I really don't want to say. But Vince, all right, well, I had a story where Mr. McMahon, the character, got Stephanie pregnant.
Yeah.
And she said, nah. And then she tried to have Triple H and Stephanie get married at a pay-per-view, legitimately get married on a pay-per-view. Yeah. And Stephanie was like, no. And Vince called her like, you so selfish. You selfish. They were like, bitch, what? This my wedding. What you talking about? Like, come on, man. Like, this man was like driven. And Paul Heyman says, listen, this man has one monogamous relationship. And that is this business. If you are the wife, you are Shane, you are Stephanie, you might as well move to the side because
you're a side chick.
Yeah, because this business is what he's focused on, and that's what he's going to do. And Linda stuck by this man every step of the way. I don't know why, but she stuck by this man every step of the way, even with all these allegations, like with the infidelity and all that. But she stuck there. You know what I'm saying? She stayed. But and to the viewers out there, listen, even though we're talking about certain major points in this docuseries, there are still a lot of things in this docuseries that we are not able to cover in a span of an hour. But I highly encourage, if you haven't seen this docuseries yet, go watch that docuseries, Mr. McMahon. It's 6 episodes. Yeah, it's like 6 episodes, one episode an hour, and then go from there. But let's go please watch it. So let's go into some lighter notes here, man. Let's go into some Jey Uso winning the IC title. Is that the right move or no?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, it's the right move. Now for how long? Well, let me say this. It could be the right move, but it depends on how long you keep the belt on him.
Yeah.
Because we got Bad Blood coming up. Kind of shocked that he won a title on Raw when I kind of wanted him to have his moment on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But it depends on how long you have it on him. And are you going to have, See, because I still don't know, is he going to be part of this Samoan Civil War? Because we got Survivor Series coming up, and Survivor Series is looking like War Games.
Yeah.
It's looking like a War Games deal. So I mean, if it depends on how long you have to keep it, and then it also depends. To me, it depends on how long he's going to have it. Right now, it's a good move because he deserves a single title, and the Intercontinental title. To be honest, lately, it hasn't been any scrubs holding that title. We went from Sami Zayn. We went from Gunther to Sami Zayn to a young Braun Breaker who I'm hearing might be having a very, very good babyface push coming up here soon, like a top tier babyface push. And now it's on Jey Uso. This belt has changed hands. It's changed hands a few times this year already, but it's changed hands to some solidified. Yeah, to some big dogs, to some guns here. Yeah. So for the title itself and for that card of title, well, for the card in that title, it's a good move.
Yeah,
it's a good move.
So for me, I agree. I feel like this singles title run is long overdue. So I'm gonna say something real little controversial. I don't care if Jey and Jimmy get back together. I don't care. I don't care. I'd rather Jey still have this singles run because I feel like what happened to Jey Uso is what they probably wanted for Montez Ford with the Street Profits, and it's happening with Jey Uso right now. And I don't think they expected Jey Uso to be like this consistently since he separated from the bloodline and did his own thing. Now, unbeknownst to you, you have another single superstar right here in the bag, just in case somebody is not working out well or somebody take the time off or whatever the case may be. Like, typically when you see somebody real hot like that, you know, it fizzles just a little bit. Like, it dies down just a little bit. Jey trajectory and his momentum always been like this. It never went down.
Look here, it went up. You ever hear somebody just plateau?
Yeah.
And that plateau was not a good one.
Yeah.
His style is just, it's just going up.
Yeah.
Almost, it's going up to where you don't think there's going to be a sign of coming down. I mean, when they went across the pond and he came out and they were singing his song.
Yeet.
At some point, somebody backstage must have been like, "Man, if we don't put a belt on this dude between now and Survivor Series, we're going to be taking a massive L because they're clamoring for him to get a title."
Yeet. So I mean, like with Jey Uso,
big yeet.
He has like, what kind of? I'm trying to compare his heat. His heat, positive heat, like his crowd reactions. It's like a John Cena. It's like a Hogan-esque. It's like Randy Orton. Like, he's on that level with them as far as his momentum. Like, I'm not even like exaggerating it, because when this man comes out, he comes out like hanging out with the kids in the back and whatever. And all he has to do is do this, and the whole crowd just do this. I feel like you need to get Fiend. You need to get Fiend as his theme song. Like, I mean, that matches so well. But with the hip hop culture mixed in with that, like him as a new IC champ, and I think people didn't see that coming though. Like, I think people was looking for Braun Breaker to get this dub, and that's like everybody thought. But it hit you with a swerve, and like, oh shit, Jey Uso the new IC champ, and it made everybody feel good because you didn't see it coming.
You know what? When we seen him meet Travis Scott backstage on Raw one time,
yeah,
Lil Wayne came out with him at WrestleMania. The word that we need to use, and look here. I don't think you and I have used this word a lot lately.
Yeah,
but Jey Uso, I'm gonna say it's actually, I'm gonna add another word to it, but I'm gonna use these two words right here. Jey Uso is so over.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. That's the word I'm
He
looking
is so over with the crowd. I mean, of course, the best thing the best thing they can do whenever they have another international crowd, and if that's still his theme, and if he's still champ, and if he's coming through the crowd, and if he's coming through the crowd again, oh my god,
Yeah.
oh my goodness,
Man, I think again, like right now, currently, he's up there with Cody. He's up there with Roman. Like he's up there, and what he's doing, like he's doing it on his own. Like there's nobody else around him, and I don't think the WWE was prepared for that. I don't think they knew he was going to be great, but I don't think they expected him to be this great. And like this man got his own merch. He got all this stuff going on. That's why I really don't care if he get back together with Jimmy or not. It was like,
I can care less.
You know what I'm saying? I can care less right now. So, like,
yeah, at least right now.
At least right now, because once you get with the bloodline, that's just gonna just boom, and it works out. When I say they didn't expect him to be this over, this consistently every week, that's a great thing for them because now Roman is that babyface guy, right? And they're teasing Cody being healed, but when Jey reunite, they tease it a little bit. Was that theatrical, cinematic one-on-one in Georgia Tech football field that they had, which was whoever thought about that was genius. But
yeah, give that man a raise.
Right. Once you reunite with Jey Uso and Roman, then man, it's like they're right here with each other. It's you know, the whole thing with Rhea, like it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and see, I say this too. Like I said, Jey Uso is like, he's way over. I mean, I agree with you. There's no way they could have predicted this right here. And he did exactly like John Cena. And no, everybody, Jey Uso is using a word that was, oh God, what app was that? He's using a word that went crazy on Vine. And we saw him start using it when he was in the bloodline. He was still in the bloodline still. Whenever Roman told him to go handle something, he was just give it to you real quick. Yeah. And pause. And we're seeing Jey got the one target audience that once you get them, oh, it's a wrap. He did the John Cena. He got the kids. Once you get them kids in your corner, and once you come to the ring with energy, and once you get the kids, and you out there fist bumping some random kid out there in the crowd.
Yeah,
this man can do no wrong unless he turns heel. And the way he going, it's what 2024. This man ain't gonna turn heel to about maybe 2027 if he's still wrestling.
Yeah, he definitely ain't turning no heel. Like, hey, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. He's selling merch like there's nobody's business, man. And they didn't see it coming, and that's a great thing for them. Now they got him with the Intercontinental Championship. Hopefully, he have a little lengthy title run on the way there, and hopefully he be World Heavyweight Champion at some point because I want to see that. I want to see that.
I need him to do one thing for me.
What's that?
They got to change the way that Intercontinental title look. Go back to the one Cody was wearing, the old school with that old look, that Shawn and Ultimate Warrior. Go back to the old one because that design is piss poor. But aside from that,
I think okay. Here's what I think about IC though.
Just design it better.
Just change it. You ain't even got to mess with the metal in it. With the design, you can make it look good just by changing the strap. Just make the strap white, and that's it.
You do that. That's a major facelift doing that.
Yeah, you ain't got to mess with the whole design of the Intercontinental title. Just make the strap white, and it's a wrap.
And
I mean, if you really want to do merch wise, have it match his outfit every week. He comes out.
Ooh, put the blue in it. Put the blue in it.
Yeah, put a blue in it. Or if you wear a different color, put that in. Like having, it's all marketing.
Yeah,
but,
look at Miami Vice that belt, and
right,
Miami Vice because he reps Florida hard.
Yeah.
So I mean, the thing I like about Jey having the Intercontinental title, It's legends held that title. Normally, when you hold that one, that belt is a direct path to the big one.
Yes.
Somebody backstage has said, I need folks to catch on. We're making him the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
We know the potential he has, and we know what he's going to get next. Now, when he will get the world title, probably about a year or two, but right now, we now know what he's in line for, because Ahmed Johnson won an Intercontinental title. Ahmed Johnson was in line to win the WWF title. Because you know why? Because Ahmed was way overdue. And everybody, Mark Henry said it. Ron Simmons said it. The Godfather, he said it. It's a lot of guys said. Jim Cornette said it. And you know, I can't stand Jim Cornette, but I love his podcast for some odd reason. But everyone said Ahmed was next in line.
Until Ron Simmons beat his ass in the freaking locker room.
Ooh, I love it. Now, if there's a story y'all ever want to hear, please listen to Mark Henry tell that story. Ooh.
Hey, he beat the brace off that man, bro. Like, hey, man, Ahmed Johnson, it's his fault. That is his fault. He messed up his own trajectory because everybody around, like the Pearl River Plunge and all that, like, bro, you was going to be world heavyweight champion. How you F up the church money, man? How you did that?
Mark Henry said this man was so over, like Stone Cold Steve Austin over a big black athlete.
Yeah.
From the hood. Over. And he wrote and he messed up the church's money. That's why Jey look here. Jey is tunnel vision, and the ride that we're about to go on now, I'm here for it, bro.
Shoot, man. Like, you come at Ron Simmons. Easily, man. Hey. Ron wasn't having that. You know what? I met Ron maybe like a year and a half ago, man. I should have asked him. I should have talked to him about that Ahmed Johnson story, man. But it wasn't on my mind. Man. We were just talking about football and all this and sports and all that other stuff. So we weren't even on that tip. But I should have asked him about Ahmed Johnson last time I saw him, man. I should have asked Ron, hey man, what was it like to beat Ahmed Johnson ass in that locker room? I need to know. Talk to me. Talk to me. You know what I'm saying? But we had to talk about baseball and all that other stuff, man. So it's whatever. But yeah, that's our show for today, ladies and gentlemen, man. You know what today is? Today is Wednesday. It is AEW Dynamite, but not just any Dynamite. This is AEW Dynamite Grand Slam tonight. So go ahead and check it out. In New York, Mercedes Moné was actually on the Breakfast Club today, and she was basically talking about Grand Slam, her trajectory, and what she's gonna do. And she was asked if she would ever go back to WWE. She was like, you know what, the way the AEW has been treating me, I don't think so. She's like, I don't think so. Like the way them, like this is the best I've ever felt so far. Like I got the freedom to do what I want, you know, movies, whatever, and wrestle, do my love, and I'm good. So that's a good thing. Also, a little bit of news about AJ Styles. AJ Styles' contract is set to expire by the end of this year or early 2025. There's no talks about negotiations or anything like that. So just keep your eye on AJ Styles if he's going to re-sign with WWE or he's just going to retire, because he did talk about retirement at some point in time, but we will see. Now, I'm a dream matchmaker. I wouldn't mind seeing AJ Styles and Kenny Omega one-on-one because they need that run back. Because, you know, I think if I remember correctly, I think Kenny Omega kicked him out the Bullet Club like ceremoniously. And I feel like that would be awesome to see Kenny versus AJ Styles. Like that would sell out. That would sell out. But either way, you got anything else for the listeners out there?
Man, everybody, please look at please look at the Vince McMahon docuseries on Netflix. It's amazing. Shout out to Jey Uso on winning the IC title. And hey, I completely understand why Mercedes said that, because she's happy. You can't put a price tag on happiness unless they piss her off over there at AEW. But the work she's doing right now, she's doing, I'm loving it. So we're here for the ride. And everyone, again, shout out to the Mad Scientists for the platform. Shout out to Boogie Blends. Shout out to Vivo. Real quick, shout out my Greek sister Vivo, as well as shout out to my other Greek sister, Naima. Hope you're doing good. We miss you down here. Yeah.
You know what? She coming down. Like November, like first weekend of November.
Okay, look, we'll make something happen. Yeah, look here. We miss you down here, and everybody. If you can't be famous, be infamous, and be damn good at it. Yeah.
Till next time, y'all. See you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Me, Boogie Blends, Vivo. Peace.
Let's go. Arsenio with it.